Hello, I'm Coach Reggie B, and I have shown you some of the things. If you've seen my videos, you saw me talk about safety. You saw 3 different backpacks. I showed you the contents of the backpack. One of the contents is this right here. So I'm out here in the woods, and you never know what's going to happen out here. And rope can save your life. It can save your life. As a matter of fact, the term lifeline comes from ropes. So I'm just out here. This is where I'm at, in the woods, doing what I do. And I want to show you some knots. I want to teach you how to tie some knots. As a matter of fact, I have a log over here. I'll bring it closer to me because I'll use it as a prop. And we're going to tie some knots. All right, so right now, when I have my rope in this format, it is because I tied a butterfly knot. So I won't teach you how to tie it yet, but I'll show you the benefit. One, it takes a long rope and makes it short, so you can just have it easily available. And then when you need it, you just pull it out like that, and there you have it, your long rope. So a lot of times I'll do that with rope. I'll tie a butterfly knot. So let's talk about knots, if you will. All right, so knots have different purposes. I'm trying to think through the knots I want to tie. I want to do a square knot. I'll do a taut-line. I'll do a 2/2 hitches. I'll do a bowline. I'll do a sheep bend, a timber hitch, clove hitch, maybe a figure 8. I'll teach you a few knots. So pay attention. Pay attention, because I'm gonna do them at least once or twice. I'll do them at least twice, maybe 3 times. So I'm just gonna talk through a square knot. You've heard of the term square knot. Right over left, left over right, and there you have it. And this is how I find out if a square knot is a square knot. Because people tie these knots and I got a square knot. And if it doesn't do this, it's not a square knot. What is a square knot for? A square knot is for joining 2 ropes together. And it's for other things, but for the most part, it's for joining 2 ropes together. So I'm looking for the end of this rope. There it is. And we'll just show you. Same thing. 2 ropes, right over left, left over right, tuck it under. And now you have a square knot. The same thing. And it's for joining 2 ropes together. Now, do it again, real slow. Come closer to the camera. Right over left, left over right, flip it under, and you have a square knot. Now you can lock the knot by putting a cinch in there, and I'll show that maybe in a different video. But this is your square knot. One more time. All right. I'm Coach Reggie B, showing you the square knot. Here it is. Right over left. I'm making it longer this time. Left over right, tuck it under. Got your square knot. But then I told you how I can lock it in. I can lock it in like that. On this side, I know too much. But anyway, you can keep it from slipping, because a lot of these knots can slip. They're not a lifeline. A lifeline knot, you won't slip. So, since we're talking about lifelines, let's do a figure 8. The figure 8, a lot of times we use them on carabiners, and you know, with a carabiner and ropes, it's a big deal. So I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the rope. You need enough, because you're going to go around once. There's many ways to do it. I do it this way: go around once, go around twice, and slip it through, and it looks like an 8. It literally looks like a figure 8, and that's why it's called a figure 8. But the thing about this rope is, once it's locked down, whether you pull on this side or this side, it will not slip. Show it to you again. The figure 8. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make this side down here a little shorter, just because this is what we do. This may be, I don't know, 100 foot or 500 feet of rope, because you're on a cliff, and you need to rappel down the cliff. So what do? You do like this. You make yourself a figure 8, once, twice, put it through, and then you take your carabiner, clamp it on, put the carabiner on your harness, and this rope right here is what you're hanging off of, which is why they call it a lifeline. And just to make sure the figure 8 never slips, even I sometimes, especially if I'm on the side of a cliff or a bridge or a building and I'm going off the side, I may put an extra, knot on there just to make sure that it's good, because I'm looking at it because it's attached to me. I would just want to make sure. And I also check up top to see what knots are up there. Knots are important. I'll show you the figure 8 again. And now you know, this is a lifeline knot. It does not slip at all. And you can hang a lot of stuff on there, right? And that's what it's for. You could pull things with it. This is a very essential knot. Everybody should know how to tie a figure 8. All of these knots, when I was being tested for my ropes rescue certification, every knot that I had to tie it blindfold. Because if you're in a cave, you're in the dark, or you're saving somebody's life, they want to know that you could tie this knot without looking, and that they can grade you on it. And so therefore, all your knots you have to be able to tie without looking. Every single knot, unfortunately, you got to be able to tie it without looking. So, this here, you got to be able to tie your square knot without looking. So that's how you can practice. Close your eyes and just tie the knots. So that is the square knot, and that is the figure 8. And I'm Coach Reggie B. No, I'm not done. So the next knot I'm going to tie is called a bowline. And the bowline, you may see people raising folks out of a ravine or pulling them out of the water in a helicopter, and you see this rope around their waist and it's pulling them out. A lot of times they use a bowline for that. So let's do this bowline. I like to do it like this because I'm getting ready to get pulled out. It's going to bring me up, right? So this is the tree. And I'm bleeding. This is the hole. Now, the tree is, the hole is hard to say it, but you see how this is. This is not on the other side. It's on the underside. The top piece is on the underside. Rabbit's going to come out the hole, around the tree, and back into the hole. And there you have it. Let me show you again. This is what it looks like up close. This is how, when I'm grading people, I can tell whether it's a bowline or not, because I know what it's supposed to look like. The only reason I'm bleeding is because earlier, I literally just touched one of my knives. Not just then, but I touched the knife, and it was sharp because I sharpened them, and that's all I did was touch it. I didn't even know I was bleeding. Anyway, back to this. You make a hole. This side of the rope, that's like this long piece, is on the underneath side. Now, you make a little loop. This is the rabbit. The rabbit comes out the hole, around the tree, and back into the hole. You pull tight, and you're ready to be hoisted out of wherever you are. And that is a bowline. Some people say bowling. So I'm gonna do it one more time. Up close. Don't pay attention to the cut. All right, here we go. See? That's underneath. Therefore, you come underneath, around, back down, and cinch it. This is the bowline. I'm not going to do all of them blindfolded for you, but since I said it, I'll at least do this one blindfolded. Rabbit comes out the hole, around the tree, back into the hole. And that's your bowline. All right? So I've taught you 3 knots. I'm Coach Reggie B, saying the next knot, I'm thinking through which one I want to teach and how I want to teach it. Sheep bend. So a sheep bend is to take a long piece of rope and make it shorter. Like this is a long piece of rope. So I may do like this with it. So I took the long piece of rope and wrapped it and did like this with it. See it? Now what I'm gonna do is take this piece right here and simply loop it around like that, cinch it down, and do the same for this side. Loop it around like that and cinch it down. And I just made the long rope shorter. And there you have it. Just like that. If you got a real long rope and you need to deal with that, but you don't want it to be so long, this could be even longer, right? Or you can wrap more in between. But once you put tension on it, it pretty much holds until you take the tension off and start shaking around, and then it can come loose, right? And once it comes loose, it's back to being a long rope. So that's the sheep bend. I'm not gonna get into all of the different ones, but you got sheep shank, sheep bend, and first aid. So let's do it again. You could do it this way. This is, you know, just kind of with 3. Or I can do like this, like this, like this, and slide it even longer. And now what you have is 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could make it 6 or 7. But for now, you saw what I did. Now, when you do this, the long piece goes on the inside. The long piece goes on the inside like this. The long piece is on the inside. And there you have it. And you cinch it down like this. Sheep bend. Sheep bend. Okay. Coach Reggie B saying I taught you a few knots. I taught you the square knot. I taught you the figure 8. I taught you the bowline. I taught you the sheep bend. The next we're going to teach will require the usage of this little piece of tree. And I don't know if it'll stand up. I usually teach it on my leg because I don't always have one of these around. It's not standing up. I'll use my leg for the 2/2 hitches, for the taut-line, and the clove hitch. So, pay attention. The 2/2 hitches is used for when, you know, you have a guideline on a tent or a guideline on anything, and you may want the rope to be shorter or longer, but you also need it to be clamped to a tent stake or a tree or something like that. I got trees around here, but I want to just stay within the camera lens and use my leg as a tree. So with the 2/2 hitches, really, when you come around like that, that's a hitch. All I did was come underneath one loop, and then you make another loop within it, and I'll get closer and show you. But this is really what it looks like. It's kind of pretty. And it slides. It literally just slides, right? That's all it does. It's a slip knot, and it slides. So if you need it to be longer, like this, sorry, you know, you can slide it and make it longer. If you need it shorter, like that, you can make it shorter. That's called 2/2 hitches. All right, let's get close and see if you can see this thing. There we go. It's the long piece. So this piece here, I come around and I bring it inside of itself. Make it a little longer. Bring it around inside of itself. See that? Then I bring it around again inside of itself. And this is what it looks like. See? That's it. 2/2 hitches. Taut-line. Taut-line is birds over there fighting. Taut-line is I bring around for another one, but I don't just bring it inside of itself. I bring it inside of the other one. When I bring it inside of the other one like that, now you cinch it. It's a little tighter. I know. Some of you say, no, Reggie, just bring it around and make another one. Yes, you can. And it still works the same way. So now, here's something that when I was a Boy Scout, I would play with. Because we just wanted to be different. So if we wanted to make a 2 half hitches, pay attention. Bring it in inside of itself. Bring another one in inside of itself, right? Taut-line, so to speak. Bring another one in inside of itself. And another one in inside of itself. And another one in inside of itself. What that does is if you have a lot of rope and you just want to decrease it, fine. But the other thing is, the more loops you have, right, the more you got to deal with, but the tighter it can be when you cinch them down. It ain't going nowhere. But it's still a slip knot. It's still a slip knot. You can open it up. You can shut it down. The reason why it's called a taut-line is because with the 2 half hitches, it's just really easy to slip. Just one, you know, it's a loop. But you see that one. But when you add a third one in there, it makes it a lot tighter. And that's why they call it a taut-line. So I could even bring it down here and all the way up. And when you do that, it's still a slip knot. But when you cinch it, it's tighter. Taut-line. So I've taught you square knot, figure 8, bowline, sheep bend, 2 half hitches, taut-line, now the clove hitch. Clove hitch is real easy. It's like super easy. So watch on my leg. I'm gonna come around like this. And here's the X. So see this X right here? Like that. I'm gonna bring the next one around and simply come, oops. So you make this X like that. And you come around through the X. And that's it. And then this is the one you pull on. Or this one. You pull on this. No. It's an animal. You pull on it to bring a tree down. That's why it's called a clove hitch. Because it's the shape of a clove. But the other piece to that is when you cut a tree and you get ready to fell a tree, you just want to be able to yank on something. And it doesn't have to be a tree, but you just need to put a bunch of people on something and you make this clove hitch. It's easy because you can get your rope back. And just because it's a slip knot, and you just yank on it for a while and it'll come loose. So let me show you to you again. Clove hitch. Come around. All right, so that's the long piece. Then I'm gonna pull. Come around like that. You make that X. And all you do is just come through the X like that. And that's it. It is that simple. And you pull on the long piece. One more time. One more time. So this is the long piece on this side. Come around like that, right? And you keep coming around. Make that X. You go through the X like that. Clove hitch. And you pull on it. Now, the timber hitch. So that's the clove hitch, because you can pull things down and get your rope back. Because if you're pulling down a 500-pound tree or a 5,000-pound tree, right, whatever, you want to get your rope back. So a clove hitch is loose enough that you can get it back. A timber hitch is for you to pull heavy trees, heavy logs. So, you know, you may cut down a log and it may weigh more than you can just carry it. It could weigh 200 pounds, it could weigh 300 pounds, or a little bit more. And you and several people need to drag this big log. Say you're building a log cabin. And you got the right, you know, round of it, right? Maybe it's 6 or 8 inches round, but it's long and it's heavy. And you need people to help you. So a timber hitch is really simple. I'll show you a timber. So this again is the long piece. We'll put it over there. But a timber hitch is, I'll tell you, the long piece we'll put over here. The timber hitch, you come through and you just make loops around just like that. just like that, just like that. But then the last one, and usually I tell people make about five loops. So let's count them. Let's count them. You're gonna make about 5 loops, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you just take this piece and bring it underneath through here, and you cinch it down. That's it. This is it. And then you just get a bunch of people and y'all start pulling. Now, what's the point, right? Well, one, it cinches and you can pull that log because the weight of the log and the weight of the cinch is not coming loose. But then when it's time to get your rope back, you can just play with it and eventually it'll slip loose and you can get your rope back, as opposed to trying to lift a 1,000-pound tree. Now, it's a timber hitch. I'll show you again. Timber hitch. Here we go. And depending on how big and how, what you're dealing with, you may need to do 7 loops, right? But generally 5. 1, pay attention, 1. I need a little longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can bring it around like that, cinch it down like that, and pull. So I've showed you the square knot, the figure 8, the bowline, the sheep bend, 2 half hitches, taut-line, clove hitch, and timber hitch. Showed you 8 knots. That should hold you for a while. But I also want to let you know that you have all been tying knots most of your life, because when you tie your shoe, you're tying something similar to a square knot. You've learned it, right? When you have your shoe, you take your shoelace, you do like that, you like that, and you do like that, and you pull it through, and you make that little bow. But if you really look hard in there, you've made a square knot. And then also, for those of you who have a necktie, right? And you're making a full Windsor knot. I don't like doing this around my neck, but I'm gonna do it for the camera. You come through like this, all right? You made a knot. Your necktie is a knot. Bow tie is a knot. Your shoe strings are a knot. So, I'm Coach Reggie B saying, get out there. Learn how to tie your knots. Remember, your figure 8 knot is the one that is a lifeline, and it will save your life. So, learn how to tie your knots as you become the best version of yourself. Hello, I'm Coach Reggie B. Some people call me Uncle Reggie when I'm in the woods, especially the kids. They call me Uncle Reggie. It makes them feel good when I'm teaching them and walking around in the woods, and there's all sorts of animals and things out here, insects and critters. But a few days ago, I taught knot tying, and I started with the butterfly, and I never showed you how to do the butterfly. So I just wanted to let you know, this is a butterfly, and this is how you take a long piece of rope and make it short so that you can just put it in your backpack. But this is a butterfly knot purpose. Now, all you do is make a loop, and you come through like that, come through like that, like that. I heard something. Make sure it's nothing big walking around out here. Like that, like that, like that, like that. And there it is. A butterfly knot. Takes a long rope, it makes it shorter. So, do it one more time for you. The butterfly knot. You start off putting it in there, and then you bring your fingers through like that, and you pull it. You pull it. Loop it through, pull it. Loop it through, pull it. Butterfly knot. You can have rope that's 20 feet, 30 feet, you know, and you only need 5 feet. Well, what do you do with the stuff that's hanging out off at the end? You make a butterfly knot. That's what you do. And since I'm sitting here, you know, we talked about several knots, right? I told you how to make a figure 8. That's a figure 8. I also talked about how to make a square knot. I said right over left, left over right, and then you have a square knot. And then I talked about, I think I said a sheep bend, you know, where you can also take rope that's long and make it short. So a sheep bend, when you take it, I'm gonna do 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do 4 for 3. So you take a sheep bend and see how I made this long rope shorter. Well, what do you do with the ends? You take one and you put it like this and loop it around. That holds it in place when it's taut. Take this one, loop it around. That holds it in place when it is taut. Just like that. And you can actually hang off of this. And then when you want your rope back, you kind of do like that and it comes loose. Also, we talked about the bowline. I did it like this, because this is how you bring people up in a helicopter or out of a ravine or something like that, and you want to pull them up in the air. Well, you need a good knot for that, and a bowline is a good knot for that. And the way we do that is the rabbit comes out the hole, around the tree, and back into the hole, and there you have it. Bowline, pull me up. So those are just some. I know I talked about the 2/2 hitches, the taut-line, timber hitch, and clove hitch, but I was really just doing the butterfly knot because I wanted to make sure I covered it. And while I was doing the butterfly knot, I got excited. I said, you know what? Let me just show you a few more knots. And that way you at least have those. But the main reason I wanted to talk to you today was because I wanted to show you the butterfly knot, which is this knot right here. All right, I'm Coach Reggie B saying get out there and learn your knots while becoming the best version of yourself.